guys, Coach Jameson here. Today's video, we're gonna go over some nice juicy spinal movements. So whether you got tension, pain, things going on in your spine, we're just gonna take it through all of its 6 motions today. Flexion, extension, lateral flexion, extension, and some rotation. I'm gonna give you some different movements to play with. As always, if you're feeling any sort of pain or red light sensations coming up during these movements, end the movement. If they're feeling good, keep inputting them daily. Let's get to it. All right, the first movement we're gonna get into, let's come into a tabletop position on our mat. We're gonna start with the low back. So we're gonna think of nice little hip circles. And the first thing we're gonna start doing is I just want you to push your hips to the right, sink them back, and then over to the left, and start making these little circles with the hips. And then we're gonna start adding in some little cat-cow kind of movements into the low back. So now as I start moving forward, I'm gonna bring a little bit of a tuck, and then I'm gonna extend back out. And then as we keep continuing, we're just gonna work in one direction right now. And so you can see as I'm doing my best to keep this motion into the low back and hips, not flexing into my upper spine, but trying to keep my chest and eyes forward as I make these little hip circles or hip gyroscopes. And then as I continue, I'm gonna try to tighten it up and not move my hips so much side to side, but try to get all of this movement right in the pelvis and lumbar. I'm gonna go about 15 more seconds in this direction, and then we'll alternate to the other direction. Again, your first goal with this, if this movement feels tough or you don't feel coordinated, is making them as smooth and controlled as you can. Let's go other direction. And this is a really good movement if you're dealing with any sort of back tension or pain in that low back area. You know, my first thing to do when people come to me with back tension is to just bring movement into those areas. Nice, gentle movements. Keep flowing for about 10 more seconds here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's knee back at center. From your tabletop position, I'm gonna have you step your right leg back. We're gonna bring our left foot in just a little bit as if we're going into a pigeon position. Keep the left hip stacked over this left knee. I'm gonna lift that back foot up. I'm gonna bring it across my body, tap to the left. As I do that, I'm gonna side bend to the left just a little bit. Lift it up, I'm gonna come back across to the right, side bend to the right. I'm gonna do these little taps with the foot. I just call these little tail wags. It's as if I'm wagging my tail. Let me give you a better view here from the back so you can see what's going on. Cross, forward. Being mindful that I'm keeping my spine extended and not hunching over as we do these. Keeping the chest and eyes up. Again, we're just doing all these movements for time. You can lengthen it if you want or shorten the time depending on how much time you have. These are some good daily inputs. And again, if you're doing this movement and you're like, oh wow, this feels great on my low back, on my hips, something we can start to do daily. Notice too, my left hip isn't swaying back and forth. I'm trying to keep this left side pretty stable. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Let's switch the opposite side. So now we'll go left leg back. I'll rotate that right leg in a little bit. And then from here, same different. We're gonna go tap to the left or to the right, side bend, and to the left. Again, imagine like our leg, just like we're wagging our tail. Getting some good lateral flexion and extension, and those hips to hike up and down a little bit. Unstiffen and unlock that low back. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Meet back your tabletop. Now that I was working our low back a little bit more, now we're gonna go up to the thoracic. I'm gonna work some side bends in my upper back. From the lower body, I want to think of ripping my knees apart. That way my hips stay stable. I don't want my hips swaying side to side here. I'm gonna try to bring this, like I said, more into the upper back. So I'm gonna pull Right shoulder is gonna pull down towards my right hip. My opposite shoulder is gonna shrug up. I'm gonna side bend to this right side, try to find that lat engaging, hold, and then we'll go over to the opposite side. Alternating side to side. Just get this motion first, and then I'm gonna give you a couple other cues, a little more detailed cues so that you can pay attention when you're doing this. Notice as I'm side bending, that my head, when I side bend to the right, my head floats over into this right side. As I side bend to the left, it floats over to the left. One thing I don't want to do is over exaggerate and get this kind of stuff going on a nice fluid side bend and good neck movement. Again, notice when I bend side to side too, my head isn't going with it. I'm keeping my neck fairly neutral, my gaze forward. And then the last thing we can start thinking about is rotation of my shoulders with this. So as I side into my right arm is opening externally and staying out on that strong side of the hand, almost thinking of pulling back a little bit as I side bend. Again, really helping me find that lat. And then I rotate that opposite arm internal. So external, internal. And once you get it, again, same with this movement, trying to make it nice and smooth. At first you might feel a little rigid, a little sticky in the thoracic and shoulders, totally fine. For your first time doing the movement, do not expect to look like me. It takes time to find that fluidity back into the spine. Some really good juicy side bending motions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then our last movement we're going to get into is a little bit of rotation. And then we're going to finish with one more kind of spirally cat-cow movement. So again, flexion and extension of the spine, lateral flexion and extension, and then rotation. So let's get into this rotation. We're going to start on our belly. We're going to go into some woggles, one of my favorite movements for the spine. I really want you to imagine like you're wringing out a towel. We're wringing out our spine. This is a really good rotational movement. We're going to start from our tummy, and then from this position, arms straight up overhead. And from our tummy, I'm going to flip my hips first and let my shoulders come second. And then from my back, when I come back to my tummy, I'm going to flip my shoulders first, let the hips come second. So it'll look like this. I'm going to lift up my right leg, swing those hips across, slowly let the shoulders peel up, and we'll flip all the way onto our bend. And then for my back, I'm going to flip the shoulders first. One thing that's going to help, I'm going to press that right heel down as I reach my right arm across my body. Keep those hips down as long as I can. When they got to come up, they come up. Shoulders first, then the hips. And we'll go in the opposite direction. I want you to alternate and go at your own pace here. Now the left leg goes across, hips first, shoulders second from the back. And then from the back, we're going to go shoulders first, hips second. And let's go ahead and work at your own pace now here. We'll just go for a full minute. I like doing this anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes at a time. First thing in the morning feels great right on the bed, or even doing it in your bed if you have the space. At first, you might need to use a little bit of momentum. You might find that you need to kind of throw the hips or shoulders over with a little momentum to get the body to roll. That's fine as you start. But eventually, as you get better, you can roll through these nice and slow, good control. Let's knee back onto our belly. Pulling hands under us. We'll come back to tabletop. And then our last movement is going to be cat-cow motion through the whole spine, working the spiral. So we're gonna come into tabletop position. And yeah, we can think of getting the motion started by kind of circling the hips back and forward. And as my hips sit back, I'm gonna work extension. And then as I start rounding back forward, that's when I'm gonna come into flexion, exhale. Inhale as we sit back into extension. And very organic movement. Don't get too picky about how well you're doing it or how it looks. Just start moving your spine through this range. Just working one direction right now. Go and alternate, go the other direction. You can make these as big or as tight in circles and spirals as you'd like. As you can see here, I'm exaggerating, making as big a motion as I can, really sitting the hips back. Or I can make it a little bit smaller, tighter, more controlled. All right, that's it. So there's a handful of spinal movements for you to play with and integrate them daily. Some great stuff to do first thing in the morning out of bed, doing each of those for about 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be a crazy long sequence. You can take all those movements and pack them into a 3 to 5 minute little short spinal movement sequence in the morning. Give them a shot. Let me know how you like them.